Pensacola, Florida. I tell you what, you think Pensacola's beautiful until you come here, so thank you all for rubbing that in and making me not want to live in Florida anymore. But at the same time, we do our show season basically from March until November every year, wide open. Every single weekend we're out flying around. We go to El Centro, California to do our winter training. For those of you that are football fans, my best analogy is like two-a-days. We fly all day, every day. We get about 3 months of winter training done there. It's just a great opportunity. The weather's nice. We get a lot of flying in. We'll start off flying 1 or 2 aircraft at a time, ultimately working up into a 6-ship Delta formation, which is what you'll see during the demonstration.
I work in life support. We maintain the systems that support the life of the pilot during normal and emergency situations, which include ejection seats, ECS and avionics cooling, all the survival equipment, seat pan, anything that the pilot would need necessarily in a worst case scenario is the equipment that we work on.
John Hecker, Johnhecker. I'm a captain of the United States Marine Corps, and I fly Fat Albert for the United States Navy Blue Angels. I joined the military when I was 29 years old, which is 2.5 years after I'm allowed to be able to join it in the first place, so I had to get an age waiver. I never flew until I was 30 years old, and then I started flight school and learned to fly at age 30. And 10 years later, here I am flying Fat Albert for all the great people in the States. So having an absolute blast doing this. You know, we get to come out here to places like this and put on a show with all these other great performers. You know, we got Mike Wiskus with us, we got Chuck Aaron, we got the U.S. Navy Leapfrog. We got all these great people coming out this weekend to put on a show for everybody here. It's going to be a blast. You could pretty much take anybody from the fleet and you could put them in this job and you can make it happen. It's just a matter of training and everything. And you know, they're out there on the front lines right now. We just happen to be the face of the Navy and the Marine Corps. We're out here showing Americans up close and personal wise what we do as sailors and Marines. You know, a normal American doesn't get to go out and touch an aircraft carrier. They don't get to go out and touch an airplane. They don't get to be this close to the action. And everything we do at the air show is kind of, you know, basically what we're doing in Iraq or Afghanistan or overseas, other places. Except we're kind of making it a little bit more showy, obviously, and we got our jets painted up blue and yellow. But basically, it's just a great opportunity for Americans to come out and see what we do.
The Blue Angels proudly celebrate the centennial of Marine Corps aviation. In May of 1912, First Lieutenant Alfred Cunningham reported to Annapolis, Maryland for flight training, marking the birth of Marine Corps aviation. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Your United States Navy Flight Demonstration Squadron takes pleasure in performing for you this, our 53rd flight demonstration of the 2012 season. I'm Lieutenant Mark Tedrow, narrator for the Blue Angels. The Blue Angel maintenance crew and their equipment travel aboard a United States Marine Corps C-130 Hercules, affectionately known as Fat Albert. It is the large blue and white aircraft taking its position on the runway to your left. Today, Fat Albert will be demonstrating the high-performance climb capability of the Lockheed Martin C-130 Hercules.
Bird, Bo, upstate of winds are calm. We own the airfield and airspace. You are clear to take off. Have a good one. Thanks, Mo. First ready to do it one more time in the paradise in the Pacific at Marine Corps Base Hawaii. Hoorah, Marine Corps! Simplify, Marines!
The C-130 Hercules, built by the Lockheed Martin Aircraft Company, was first produced in 1951. It was designed as a tactical transport, capable of lifting heavy payloads both into and out of short or unimproved airstrips, as well as providing aerial delivery. The aircraft is powered by 4 Rolls-Royce turboprop engines, producing more than 18,000 shaft horsepower, enabling takeoffs on runways as short as 2,500 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Hecker is now positioning Fat Albert behind the crowd to the right for the parade pass. Flown at 200 feet, at airspeeds approaching 300 miles per hour. Captain Hecker is now positioning Fat Albert for a low-altitude, high-speed pass. From the left, at 370 miles per hour, the Fat Albert Flat Pass. Fat Albert is flown by an all-Marine crew, led by Captain Ben Blinn from Ventura, California. Captain John Hecker from Huntsville, Alabama, and Captain A.J. Harrell from Frederick, Maryland. High and to the left, Captain Hecker will establish Fat Albert on a very steep approach angle to simulate landing in mountainous terrain or a hostile environment. To demonstrate the short-field landing capability, they will touch down and immediately reposition the propellers to full reverse, stopping the aircraft in just 1,500 feet. You will notice that not only can the aircraft stop quickly, but it can actually taxi backwards. Ladies and gentlemen, with the stars and stripes flying proudly above the cockpit, the Blue Angels C-130. Fat Albert. Now, direct your attention to the ramp before you. Observe the military manner in which the 6 demonstration pilots approach their aircraft and are saluted by their crew chiefs. Ladies and gentlemen, flying Blue Angel number 1, the commanding officer and flight leader of the Blue Angels, from Atlanta, Georgia, Captain Greg McWhirter. Flying Blue Angel number 2, the right wingman, from Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, Lieutenant Commander John Hiltz. Flying Blue Angel number 3, the left wingman and one of the Marine Corps representatives in the Delta Formation, from Hemet, California, Captain Brandon Cordell. Flying Blue Angel number 4, the slot pilot and the other Marine Corps representative in the Delta Formation, from Knoxville, Tennessee, Major Brent Stevens. Flying Blue Angel number 5, the lead solo, from Coon Rapids, Minnesota, Lieutenant Commander C.J. Simonson. Flying Blue Angel number 6, the opposing solo, from Birmingham, Alabama, Lieutenant Commander Dave Tickle. As the crew chiefs assist the pilots into their jets, you are witnessing the teamwork found in all Navy and Marine Corps units. The Blue Angels also take a great deal of pride in personifying the Navy and Marine Corps values of honor, courage, and commitment. The Navy's Flight Demonstration Squadron, the Blue Angels, is the oldest performing U.S. military aviation demonstration team. Since 1946, the Blue Angels have brought naval aviation to men and women of all ages across America. We are now in our 26th year of flying the highly sophisticated Boeing FA-18 Hornet. The pilots and crew chiefs will now start the General Electric engines that power these FA-18s. The noise level will soon become too high for you to hear a description of the checks that we will be performing. However, please note that each aircraft was carefully inspected by expert Blue Angel maintenance personnel prior to this afternoon's aerial demonstration. The Blue Angels fly the Boeing FA-18 Hornet, a multi-mission strike fighter, versions of which have been operational throughout the fleet since 1983.
Takeoff checks. JK. Spin. Rotate. On. Check your suppression. Check your trim set. Check your heading norm. My heading is 130. Check your altimeter set. 2991. Correct the center point elevation 0 feet. Check your bearing 0. Check your SAS 12, 30, 30, 34. Check your fuel. Check your speed arm. Lights out. JK. Sub. Spin. Rotate. Almost. Check your suppression. Smoke on. Smoke off. Good afternoon, balls. Update to winter call. Boss squawk 0400, Roshan squawk 0401, Elbow squawk 0402. You are cleared to taxi via Foxtrot. Back taxi, line up and wait, runway 422. Thanks, Bo. Line up and wait, runway 4 and 22.
The Blue Angels taxi in tight formation, just as you will see them perform here this afternoon. This degree of precision has become a trademark of the Blue Angels since first established 66 years ago. 16 officers and 100 enlisted personnel comprise the Navy Flight Demonstration Squadron. 4 of the demonstration pilots fly in a tight diamond formation, while 2 fly as solos, the maximum performance demonstrators. Once again, I am Lieutenant Mark Tedrow from Charleroi, Pennsylvania, Blue Angel number 7 and the narrator for the flight demonstration, as well as the pilot for the VIPs we normally fly at each show site. They're on the runway now with the diamond establishing the fingertip formation. They'll accelerate their engines to 85% power. carefully check their engine instruments and respond to Captain McWhirter with a thumbs up, indicating they're ready to go. With a thumbs up from each of his wingmen, Captain McWhirter will call for the selection of afterburner, and the Blue Angel Diamond will be rolling. Accelerating to 150 miles per hour, he will pull back on the stick, flying the formation into the air. Immediately after liftoff, Major Stevens will call for the landing gear and flaps to come up, and they'll commence the Diamond Burner Go, low transition on takeoff.
Pause. Boom. Upsteady winds are 1107. We on the airfield and airspace. You are cleared for takeoff. Have a good one. Thanks, Mo. Cleared for takeoff. Solo's ready to rock Hawaii, boss. We're clear for takeoff. Winds are 1107. That's a right crosswind. Check your parking brake off. Check your trump sets. Check your nose wheel steering on. Maneuver. Diamond burner go. Low transition. Right turn out. JK. So, Bay Bay is Diamond up clear on 9. Let's fire it up for the Blues over K Bay and 100 years of Marine Corps aviation. Hoorah! Let's run them up.
Back to the right, Blue Angel number 5 is rolling. He will accelerate to 170 miles per hour and climb to an altitude of 50 feet. He will then roll his aircraft 360 degrees with the landing gear extended. The dirty roll on takeoff. Back to the left, Blue Angel number 6 is rolling. He will execute a very precise low transition as he accelerates his aircraft to 300 miles per hour. The Blue Angel Diamond will momentarily be making its approach from the right. In relatively slow speed flight, they will give you an opportunity to get a close look at that very minimum 18-inch wingtip to canopy separation that exists between these 4 aircraft. Approaching center point, Lieutenant Commander Simonson and Lieutenant Commander Tickle will roll their aircraft into a 90-degree angle of bank and push forward on the stick as they perform the opposing knife edge pass. From the right, at 400 miles per hour, the Diamond Roll. All 4 aircraft rolling as one in this graceful 360-degree rolling maneuver. Our 2 solo pilots are approaching once again, this time to demonstrate the inverted flight capabilities of these FA-18s. Approaching inverted from the left and right, they will roll their aircraft 360 degrees over center point, the opposing inverted to inverted roll. To the left, the Diamond is setting up for their next maneuver, the Diamond Aileron Roll. Approaching center point on a signal from Captain McWhirter, all 4 pilots will simultaneously roll their aircraft 360 degrees. To the right, Lieutenant Commander Simonson and Lieutenant Commander Tickle will establish a mirror image formation. But look closely, for both aircraft are in the carrier landing configuration as they approach for a maneuver we call the Fortus. For Navy and Marine Corps pilots who must land their aircraft on the small and sometimes pitching deck of an aircraft carrier at sea, slow speed flight is just as important as high speed flight. In order to demonstrate the dirty, slow speed handling characteristics of these Boeing FA-18s, Captain McWhirter has called for the extension of the landing gear and tail hooks by the 4 Diamond pilots. As the 4 Diamond pilots approach once again, you should notice 2 significant modifications. While the wingmen, Lieutenant Commander Hills and Captain Cordill, maintain that minimum wingtip to canopy separation, the flight leader and slot pilot are both upside down. Lieutenant Commander Simonson is approaching to demonstrate the maximum performance turn radius of the FA-18. He'll execute a 7.5 G after burning turn and exit the flight line vertically, showcasing the Hornet's slow speed climb capability. Having rolled their aircraft 270 degrees and crossed with minimum separation, let's watch as both pilots sustain 6 times the force of gravity required to cross their aircraft over center point. The 4 Diamond pilots are now stacked down and aft on a 45-degree bearing line to establish a right echelon formation. From the right, at 350 miles per hour, the Blue Angel Echelon Parade. Ladies and gentlemen, the opposing horizontal rolls. In front of the crowd to the right, Captain McWhorter's rolling out the Diamond to demonstrate the awesome power of these General Electric engines. Approaching center point, he will call the 4 Diamond pilots to select full afterburner. Watch and listen to the thunder of 8 engines, producing 128,000 pounds of thrust. More power than the starting lineup of the Daytona 500. To the right, Lieutenant Commander Simonson has joined the Diamond in a line abreast formation. Still maintaining minimum separation, the pilots must now align themselves by looking 90 degrees from their flight path toward Captain McWhorter's aircraft. Approaching from the right at 350 miles per hour, the 5-plane line abreast flat pass. Captain McWhorter has now called for our 2 solo pilots to join the Diamond for the Delta aerobatic portion of our flight demonstration. From the left, at 400 miles per hour, the Blue Angel maneuvering Delta.